I've always been quite an environmentally minded person, and I always find that less is more. Less is more in terms of consumption, but also less is more in terms of design, to come to an essence. So when I started making jewelry about a year ago, I realized that there are so many issues involved with silver and gold and stones, and the mining of it, and the conflict diamonds, as everybody already knows, the blood diamonds, but also with silver and gold. I mean, they're mining, and just for an ordinary band, gold wedding band, it leaves in its wake about 20 tons of waste that is laced with toxins. And at that time I thought, if that's the case, maybe I actually don't need to make any jewelry, because I don't want to be part of the problem. I've done quite a bit of research following that realization, and actually I found ways that jewelry can be made in a much more sustainable, in a less harmful way, where you can actually be part of the solution and rather part of the problem. I found a supplier who supplies 100% recycled silver. It's not the most perfect, but it's the best we can do, certainly for silver. I've recently started working with bioresin. Normally resin used in a jewelry is very toxic for the environment as well as for the jeweler to work with. I found bioresin made out of sunflowers, which is non-toxic, and it's just got a beautiful story behind it as well, that it's made out of sunflowers and you can work with it without actually endangering your own health or the environment. And soon there'll be fair trade gold coming onto the market. There have been some campaigners working on it for probably the last 10 years to make that possible. And now finally it's coming to market next year in 2011. And once that is available, I will also be working with fair trade gold. And the beauty of that is the money you pay, you will pay a little bit extra for the gold, but it actually goes to the community, to make schools, to raise schools, and environmental, and just to reduce also the chemical impact. Well, I don't make a collection. My closest collaborator is serendipity. So I have a whole sketchbook full of ideas and drawings, and they're very detailed, and then I go into the studio, and more often than not, something completely different happens. And usually I'm quite pleased. Yeah, so far fortune has been serendipity, and we kind of seem to be working quite well together. At the moment I'm playing around with bioresin made out of sunflowers, because you can make beautiful organic shapes, and it's non-toxic, and you can then, because I've been using, I've been playing with a lot of things, whether it's pottery or woodwork or basketry. So I have all of those tools here. So with the resin I can actually use those tools. And I've been, I guess it's called innovating, but I call it playing with the bioresin to make it more light and give it a complete different texture than it normally would be. And colored it also in that kind of orange of sponge coral, which is another endangered species. So I'll have my beloved sponge coral, which I won't be using because it is an endangered species, but have beautiful sunflower necklaces that look a bit like coral flowers. But also I've been taking a couple of workshops on anti-plastics. I'm working on rather large scale arm pieces, and also for the London Architectural Week, where I've just had an exhibition. Right now I've been making more architectural linear pieces, like one of those arm pieces. And so it's every day I go to the studio, it's something else. I find hard to say what makes me distinctive. I think it's probably more in the eye of the beholder. I started making jewelry because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted to wear. So being a person who, if she doesn't find, or if she doesn't know anything, she just learns it and does it herself, I started making jewelry myself, and it's very much kind of my aesthetic, which quite a few people. It's not for everybody, and it will never be a majorly commercial undertaking. But there are people out there who very much appreciate exactly that kind of aesthetic, and I've got quite a few collectors that come regularly back and look what new things I'm making, and also quite a bit of interest from galleries. So I think it's just very much my style, and also they're one-offs that I make. So if somebody buys and wears one of my pieces, they won't see this piece anywhere else around again. So they're very individual pieces made with, yeah, with my kind of passion and my sense of aesthetic.